Hi, I'm Jack Conti, CEO of Patreon. Ask me anything. We rolled out a blog post yesterday that is causing some fear and confusion. I'm here with our exec team and product team to answer questions and clear things up. Ask me anything. Verified. Hi Jack. I'm Anirika, the person who posted the tweet that originated this conversation. So far your team has explained an inordinate amount of times why they are testing this change, to fix this alleged double charge issue affecting patrons by making it so that they will be charged on the day they originally pledged going forward. We heard it. We got it. This scenario is meant to tackle people not getting their fill of a creator's rewards if they pledge in the middle of the month, which by Patreon's own setup is in itself an unlikely setting. When a patron pledges, they instantly get access to hundreds, if not thousands of old posts, worth way more than say a 5 pledge. Then going forward they pay for new content. In my 3 years as a creator, not a single patron has ever complained about this to me. To most of us, this is a scenario, while the issues that this has the potential to cause are an actual real likelihood. As there are thousands of creators on your platform who have adapted to the system and come up with ways to be fair and handle these late pledges. In my case, all my patrons get the same benefits regardless of when they pledge. This includes lessons, points and merchandise. So please do riddle me this. How does the system cater to this segment of your creators? How will creators who send merchandise or organize lessons based on a fixed pledge day be able to adapt to this? Using the example of my lessons alone. When someone pledges late to me, I still offer them their lesson on the same period they pledged, and then, on the 2nd of the month, I book all of my students in once their pledges have gone through. With a system like anniversary pledging, this will make organizing my lessons impossible, as I will be forced to wait to see if their pledge comes through to determine whether I can fulfill the lesson. This, in turn, will also seriously limit the date range available for them to book and discourage people from joining my Patreon throughout the month. While this is my example, there are thousands of creators out there with similar systems for whom a pledge cycle like this will be completely devastating. So to refine my question, are you actually thinking of all your creators? Particularly those in a situation such as my own? And what's your answer to us beyond adapt to it? Hi. I think Patreon always tries to get it right, and the challenge is, that's a hard thing to do. By definition, a community of creatives is going to have a pretty diverse set of ideas on what works for them, and even more diverse base of subscribers. So I get that it's hard. What I don't understand is why these really big impactful changes aren't just rolled as optional. Like the way Google will always let you opt to stick with the established model or move their new improved whatever. That way, you don't have to get it right for everyone. Whatever the problems with the previous model, after it's been around for long enough, everyone has invested time in adapting to it. When you force a change, you send half or more of the creators back to the drawing board, and then you get this. Is the pandemic really a good time to mess with / change the payment system? Hi Toom SV, just trying to get to this ASAP while Jack is writing out other answers. _I'm _Jack _Conti _CEO _of _Patreon _ask _me _anything /GK8TVPW/ UTM _sourceerdit and UTM medium web 2x and context 3. Here's what he posted earlier on the topic. Gonna take a deep breath and give this a little preface. I have been a creator on Patreon for 4 years. I have been a part of the creator community, participated in surveys, Zoom calls, product testing, and every avenue of feedback submission. Time and time again, the concerns of me and my peers have been overlooked for the sake of the bottom line. See landing page rollout. This anniversary billing thing was discussed in a survey that myself and many others received, and all that I have spoken with predicted this very issue. That creators who have based their entire business plan around patrons being charged on the first of the month would be severely negatively impacted by this change. You did not listen. You did not listen because there are patrons who get double charged. Because they cannot or will not read the fine print. The fine print that you determine the fineness of. Mind you, I have 2,000 patrons. Last year I had to issue less than 10 refunds because of double charges. I am not the biggest. But I am no small fish either. And frankly, I'd issue 100 refunds if it meant you wouldn't completely turn the business model of hundreds of creators on their head simply because you are unwilling to find a better solution to, from what I can tell, is a non-issue to begin with. Question time. Are you willing to commit to a public-facing roadmap and avenue of communication and feedback for all Patreon creators to have input on? How many times during a hang time have we had the roadmap question come up? And Jack specifically pushed back against it? Well, here we are. Jack. Here we are. Again. With a lot of confused, scared, and frustrated creators and patrons because of the lack of communication. Again. How many times will it take? Are you willing to commit to a complete overhaul of communication between teams at Patreon? This debacle and recent lesser-known debacles has revealed that there is some sort of atrocious system of communication at Patreon where very important members of key teams are not in the know about changes before they are pushed out. I am sick of learning about changes via Twitter. I am sick of hearing sorry. That was our mistake. There was a miscommunication. You are Patreon. This isn't a mom and pop join anymore. It doesn't have to be like this. What can we do together, as creators and staff at Patreon, to avoid this disheartening cycle of we hear you? We're taking your feedback. We're listening only to get a big pie shoved right in our faces? I have been eager to help and give feedback at every turn. I've seen the stuff Patreon is working on and am excited for changes. Hello app. But times like this kill all hope, and instead of working on my art, I am here pleading with Patreon on behalf of my peers who are not informed or have the time to speak out like this. Personally, I'd like to see creators of all sorts come together on a panel that is in direct communication with Patreon. I need to know that when changes like this are even floated, there are advocates for us in the room explaining why and how these changes impact us. Not just the top creators on Patreon. Not just the big crossover artists with tens of thousands of Twitter followers. Not just the cool kids. I want people with tried and true records of giving feedback and working with Patreon to get the call to make this speak better and help avoid instances like this. I am sorry for the bluntness. But so many of us are tired and scared and have actively spoken out on this very thing only to be completely disregarded or intellectually insulted with hypotheticals, and we're listening. When clearly you are not. Thank you. Yuri. Please don't apologize for being blunt. You have every right to be angry right now. That is my fault. And I take responsibility for that. If you are the same Yuri I see in Discord and have seen in hang times. We have talked many times. And I don't want you or anyone to feel bad about giving direct feedback. Okay. In response to your questions about an overhaul of communication systems between creators, the community team, patrons, the product teams, and the whole company. Yes. I commit to that. Our team has already started drawing up plans for a complete revamp of the entire feedback loop between creators, patrons, Patreon, and back. That overhaul/audit has already begun. And it will include changes like some of the ones I've mentioned previously, which I'll link here again for the sake of clarity. A regular live hangout with our creators and me and other Patreon executives. A recurring creator newsletter from our product team about roadmap updates. An audit and optimization of the process we use to gather feedback from our creators to ensure it's actionable for the product team. Members of Patreon's executive team will commit time each month to connecting with creators in our Discord community. Our new CPO starts mid-Feb. And solving product feedback loop with creators will be at the top of his priority list. That stuff is where it's going to start. And if it's not enough, we're going to gather your input on the communication and building processes. We'll keep revising and making it better. And I'm not going to give up until it's great. Yep. It's me. And I appreciate that we can have discussions like this. It is a shame that it seems to always happen after a bomb goes off. I am hopeful about some of these changes you've mentioned. But wary and weary as well. I do like the idea of hang time. And some of those streams were delightful. There were problems with them, though. Problems I know you're aware of. The expectations of the viewership being one of them. Feature requests and complaints. Every time. Having to say this isn't for that. Every time. There comes a time where you've got to ask if the creators who attend aren't there for the cute interview with the creator and chat with a team member. Who is hang time for and what is it actually accomplishing? I hope that during the hiatus. These are questions that were asked internally and will be addressed when it returns. Newsletter good. I like newsletter. Would be great to have a newsletter function baked into Patreon. Ha. See. Feature requests even here. Jack. Even here. You can't escape. Problem is. We've had that. It kinda didn't really do much in terms of delivering information. Lots of self-back-patting and non-starter info. So if this returns with very tangible, accessible data-driven information and an avenue to give feedback and thoughts, I would like that very much. Optimizing the feedback and utility of said feedback is very good. You are saying the right things. But this also feels like a you're saying sorry. But do you know what you're apologizing for? Kind of situation. Does Patreon know why and how feedback has failed up to this point? I used to hear tales of Mindy's big folder of collected feedback. She was the creator advocate I was most familiar with. And bless her for that. But very often it felt like our feedback wasn't being digested. Right now there's a huge lack of faith in the process. And that's not to sit and wag my finger. I genuinely love offering feedback and digging into the business of Patreon and want to see this platform thrive. We wouldn't be upset if we didn't. If Patreon can refine and polish this process, a whole lot of problems start getting solved. Having team members on Discord is good. Talks about product updates and actual boots on the ground feedback sessions are good. But the Discord is a mighty small echo chamber of just a few of us most vocal people. And I can't help but wonder if at this point some would just write us off as the never happy group that complains about everything and has no idea how much work it takes to do this. And in that same vein, how many creators are at the point of just writing off any team member as the poor sap who drew the short stick that month? Who won't listen or care or understand anyway? New CPO good. That sounds good. Ass kickers and doers of work that needs to be done is always a huge plus. I've been involved in discussions about this all day. I set aside my work to participate and advocate my side of things, while also trying to temper flaring emotions. I know you know this is serious and how these are people's livelihoods. And I do not doubt that you genuinely feel bad for this miscommunication today. It has happened before, though. It even happened very recently with the change to outward-facing patron counts. And I don't know how much attention you paid to the landing page changes from last year. But a lot of creators were really burned by that. The "we want a solution for all creators" mantra rings hollow when many I know were put into a box their business did not fit in. Their tier images they worked hard on, Their about sections they worked hard on. Their entire presentation was broken despite their warnings and feedback. It was a cold, rigid, and uncaring transition. One that has made me a lot of money. And I do not doubt that this change could make me a lot of money too. I don't want that money to come at the expense of other creators having to upend their entire business models for the sake of making this a thing. There has to be a better way to solve this problem. And if there isn't, there needs to be a clear way for creators negatively impacted to receive assistance in finding a model and transitioning to it. I'm not talking workshops. I'm talking one-on-one meetings. People who can make their business successful despite the changes. If that can't be done, then I don't want it. And for a final note, I know Patreon is trying to really nail down acquisition and retention of patrons.
Thanks for watching.
It's good for everyone even if they don't know it. Or it hurts. I do get that. But there are glaring ways to make more money that should be simple implementations. Such as adding new, higher tiers and being able to grandfather in past rewards in lower tiers. Currently I would have to manually edit hundreds of posts individually to add a new tier. And I cannot do. Can I have a team member do it because you put that feature behind a paywall? See? When you create problems and sell solutions, it sucks. The double charge thing sucks. But we can minimize that churn through education and communication, and if people just end up not pledging at the end of the month and forgetting about it altogether, so be it. So be it, to maintain the brand expectation of charges going out on the first of the month. That is inherently valuable and shouldn't be discounted just for the most straightforward solution, as it will likely just create more fires of a different sort. Thank you for reading. Jack. Myself and many others want to be part of a solution, and part of making Patreon a special place. I hope this input helps somehow.
Thanks for watching. 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 Thanks for watching.